Good morning, here is Kramer's Corner with the daily technical updates on a day where we saw a little bit of relief in the US market yesterday. And what is interesting is actually that there is some divergence on the RSI. The low here Friday last week is actually higher than this one, so there's a little bit divergence, so we could see a bit of a rebound higher towards the 200 moving average here over the next couple of days. The announcement that is coming out left, right and center this week, or plan to come out this week, especially on Apple, can maybe change that picture, but let's see. On the other hand, there's no divergence on the RSI, so a little bit of conflicting there, discrepancy between those two indices. Despite this, there's still downtrend on all fronts, on all time horizon, both short and medium term, and we could still see Nasdaq below 14,000, below the 200 moving average, but it's not a clear-cut case, but still risk on. There's still a risk off, to be honest. In Europe, we see divergence on the RSI, so a weakening and exhaustion of the trend, at least short term. And if we see EuroStoxx 50 breaking above 4,082, we could see a move up to test the upper falling trend line at the 55 moving average here, and that is probably it. But let's see if we get to that level. We are still in negative sentiment on the RSI. On DAX, also a little bit of a bounce, the 14,675 after being tested 4 times has the index managed to close above, so there's some resistance here just below 15,000. If it can break above that and close above 14,980, well, then there's room up to around 15,250 level, where we also have declining trend line there and declining 55 moving average. AEX Amsterdam also expect a bounce towards the 730 level here over the next couple of days. Belgian markets already bouncing off lows. That was also the lows from back last year, as we can see here in Q4. So a little bit of a bounce there. Will we bounce as much as we did last time? That is a little bit premature to talk about, but it should be kept in mind. And the CAC 40 also bouncing off this 6,800 level that is seems to be key strong support, whereas the Swiss market is still really struggling for upside momentum. There is some gaps that would be hard to close, but I think we could see a little bit of a bounce higher towards 10,500, but very depressed market there really. On the FX market, something is going on at the moment on almost all FX pairs. We have the euro dollar currently trading above the 106.35 resistance level here. The next one is 107. We can see here where it was rejected last time, and we have the 55 moving average. Canada actually break back above, and what is also key, will RSI close above the 60 threshold and thereby going into bullish sentiment. If that scenario plays out, well, then strong resistance at 107.60-65 level, but could move all the way up to just around 108, where we have the 200 and 100 moving average coming down. So a little bit of renewed strength there. Euro sterling seems like now it means business breaking above the 87.35. Can it stay up, which I believe it will, then there's room up to 88, 88.20. Euro Swiss breaking at the moment, breaking above the 61.8 retracement at 95.83, and I think what is interesting, testing the cloud here. Let's zoom in a little bit. If it can close above the cloud and move above the 87.86 retracement, then we are in a bullish trend and a bullish sentiment. Look out for what's happening on the RSI. It needs to close above 60. Cable Still trading sideways a little bit, but I think it was slowly crawling higher towards 123, but I think it will be too strong a resistance to penetrate, at least at the first go. In the yen pairs, it seems really now it's moving after trying for so long. Excuse me. The 161.8 projection of this correction it did here over the past few days is at just below 152. Coincidentally, it is also the previous peak here back in September, October last year. So I think we will see that being tested. If it breaks above that level, well, then there is seriously much higher levels in play. Euro yen at the moment above 159.75 resistance, and if we can get back above the RSI 60, which it is at the moment, well, then there's room to 162, possibly up to 163, at least short term. So it seems like after a couple of tries, now it's really moving. Aussie yen testing once again 95.85 as we speak. Next key level be 96.82, around that level. But then there's room up to around 98.5. Sterling yen still trying to get its mojo back, but it definitely needs to get above 183.90. That is the key resistance at the moment, and we need to have the RSI back above 60. So look out for those levels there. And when we are talking about yen, well, Swiss yen, after a little bit of a correction, seems like it's moving higher, and I think we will see higher levels towards 170 on Swiss yen. And let's have a quick look at the Aussie dollar. Keep an eye on Aussie dollar. It could break this falling trend line and the 55 moving average, and if it does, well, then there could be room up to around 65 and a quarter. Looking at the dollar index, after being rejected at 106.57 resistance, we are likely to have a test of the 105.34 support, and we also have the 55 moving average coming up there. So those are the levels to look out for. Gold correction after this move up here over the weekend is waiting a little bit, it seems. It's just a minor one, but also we are in an uptrend, and we could move higher towards 2024, which is the 161.8 projection of this little correction here. But on the broader picture, we are in an uptrend, medium term, short term, etc. So 2020 around that level, which is also close to the 161.8 projection. I see that being tested fairly shortly. Silver, really not much to talk about on silver. I mean, it did try to get up here yesterday towards the 23.78 resistance. That is the key level to look out for. I think we removed this. So it could be tested here in the next couple of days, and the close above, well, then there is room for higher levels. Also something interesting going on in copper market. It is currently again, did yesterday and also now as we speak, testing the falling trend line here, and very close to be testing it. Actually did yesterday the 55 moving average coming down. It's trying to build an uptrend, but I would like to see the RSI closing above 60 before I call it at least slightly bullish. But there is some overhead resistant levels. We have the 100 moving average coming down here. We have the 200 also putting a lid over there, but it definitely need as a minimum to get back above 382 before we are back above the cloud, before we are in any meaningful uptrend. But it will be a struggle. On the energy side, we have the WTI, as you can see, very close to be testing 81.50, key support. A break below, well, then we are looking at 77.60, possibly all the way down to 74 level down here. But this is also a very strong support, so it could be a short-lived one. But we are below the cloud, and 81.50 is key. Almost similar to that, we have Brent at the 61.8 retracement, dipping down a couple of times, still in the cloud, so it's still in a bullish in terms of the cloud, but in terms of the RSI, we are in a negative sentiment. So a little bit mixed picture there, really. So we need to break this range here, and let's just draw some trend lines. As you can see, we can do this also right there. Those are the levels that needs to be broken: 86.68 and 90.68 for direction. Finally, on the US 10-year, I would like to see a break below 480 or above 5% again for direction. Indicators tells us that we should see a correction down to possibly 470, 460, but I'm not too sure. Let's see. It could still move higher. I want to see a break up before I say anything meaningful about that. All right, that's all for today. Talk to you again tomorrow, and happy trading.